Hi everyone, so I'm back again with my watercolour series for Christmas cards. So this time we're going to do a snowman, a nice fun snowman. I'm using Frisk watercolour cards. They've got a deckled edge. They are a wood pulp card, so not as versatile as cotton paper and not as forgiving, but you tend to not be able to get a cotton watercolour card. So this is what we've got and this is what we're working with. So snowman wise, I have made this up. So I've got a circle here, a circle here. I've popped a hat on the snowman and a scarf. And then I've gone for an orange and coal eyes, nose and mouth. Coal buttons and two twiggy hands. And then we've got some snow at the bottom. I'm going to start with a bit of a background. I'm going to try to vignette it because I don't want to pop a border on the card. I've just taped the edges to stop it cockling and moving as I'm doing this. I'll talk you through the colours as I go, so I'm just going to get a little bit of water on into the background. So I've got my round number 10 that I'm going to be using. I've just popped on some neat intense blue. It's a phthalo blue basically. I'm going nice and blue for this background. So I'm going to come round the snowman as best I can in the hat. I'm going to get a nice edge. That's my main focus when I'm doing this, is coming round here. So I'm going to get a nice edge on my snowman. Remember, I want it to vignette out. Can you see how shooty the blue is? And this is because it's phthalo based pigment. It tends to be quite shooty. Keeping this edge quite dark just helps really set it out. So I'm just doing some dabbing action. It is already drying quite nicely. Probably a bit too quick for my liking, but it will still work. Give that brush a bit of a rinse. What I'm going to do is use a toothbrush to create some snow. So I have got some neat Chinese white. So I'll pop that on the toothbrush. I'm going to use my thumb, which is very dirty, because I've just been doing paint splattering of another colour. So I'm coming on. There's too much water on this. Let me just take some of the water off. Keeping it close and pulling through. So I'm going to create a snow effect. So we've got some big blobs here. I'm going to work with them. As the water was quite fluid. This is our new techniques are made. So I'm going to make these into snowflakes basically. So I'm just taking off the lump of paint. There seemed to be quite a lot of water on that toothbrush and it has flowed everywhere, but we're going to work with it because this is nice and frosty looking and it's created like snowflake effect. In fact, I'm going to take a little bit more on. New techniques are always discovered by accident. Usually these accidents happen and you get these bits happening. So I've just dropped another couple of blobs on here and we're going to make these into snowflakes as well. So we've developed a new technique live on camera. Just going to blob them around and make them into big snowflakes. Okay, I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dried, and I actually quite like what it's done. So I think I might have just developed a new technique here. So the white has basically blobbed in and created like big snowflakes and icy looking bits. So I'm going to work with it, and I quite like it. So if I come on to this bottom bit of the snow now, so I'm using my round number 10 to pop on some water. It has got a little bit of that blue still in the brush, and that works quite nicely because I'm about to put on a bit more for a bit of shadow. So we're going to come, we need to decide where one side is the direction of light. So if we say the light's coming this way, because it's lighter this side in the background, then we can take the shadow and pop that in now. So we're going for a big round lump basically. There we go, that works nicely. If I drop down to around number 6, so I've got some Windsor Violet here. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that just in the bottom. It's running in the same pigment family, and it's just going to make it all work quite nicely. And the other thing that I've got, I'm just going to take a little bit in, is Payne's Grey. I'm just going to drop a little bit of that just on the bottom edge. I've not done a line that's too precise. I want it to be quite bobbly. I've got lots of neat colours here. I'm just going to work with my round number 6. So we've got an orange for the nose. So I'm going to start with that. I want you to just leave a little bit of light where the light should be. So on that right hand side, I've got coal for eyes, so this is Payne's Grey. If you go wrong and lose the light, then you just pop it back in with I have a trusty gel pen to hand. A little white gel pen works quite nicely. I think for the mouth, we'll just dab in. Don't really need any light in those bits. And then try and leave a little bit of light in the coal buttons. I'm going to pick up with the Windsor Violet or any purple for the scarf. So we're just painting this on to dry. Leave a little bit of light. If you take thicker colour in, you can create little folds and shadow in there. And leave a little bit of light on there. Take a dab of the Payne's Grey, just bring that really close. It's nearly dry now, this bit, so it's a case of just working so you've got that nice fold there happening. That works nicely with the Payne's Grey. There's a bit of shadow. You can have a bit of shadow there, a little bit of shadow there, a little bit of shadow underneath, a little bit of shadow on that edge. Work quite nicely. So it's just pulling these bits out. We're going to have a nice black hat. This is a real test of your brush control skills. Leave that fine, just a fine dash of light on that hat there. This is when your hat gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so keep adjusting it. I'm just leaving some little bits of light just towards that edge, and then I'm going to make this side a bit darker. Just curving it round a bit so you get that dark and light. If I use a little bit of the cadmium red that I've got lying around just on the nose, just on that underside, so it just creates a little bit more shadow. And then we just need to pop in the stronger shadow, so you can have a little bit underneath. So this is just the blue again. Just coming underneath each of these buttons. We do need a little bit underneath the nose, but at the minute it's a bit too wet for me to attempt that. You're going to need a little bit of shadow on this underside here. So this is just the blue that we've used in the background, and we're just going to keep using it. Nice and watery though. A bit under there. So that's run out a little bit, so I'm just going to pull that back with a damp brush. A little bit just underneath each eye. And a little bit underneath the nose. So you're starting to get that real shadowed effect. Okay, so I'll dry that one off. Okay, so that's working really nicely and could be just left as is, but I like to always fiddle a little bit. So you can bold stuff up by double layering now. So I'm going to take an extra bit on the nose, that's the cadmium orange. An extra bit on the hat. Just working as if I'm drawing with the brush, basically. Just drawing these angles. It's a chance to neaten anything up, and just to bold anything up. If you're bolding up these features, it's just going to help it stand forward a little bit more. A little bit more into here. That's a Payne's grey. And just take a little bit of the Windsor violet in. It just helps define that shadow a little bit more, the dark and the light edges as well. It's just giving it that just a little bit more oomph, really. Okay, the last thing I'm going to use is some iridescent mediums. This is a Winsor & Newton iridescent medium. It's got a nice sparkle to it, so we're going to use it on the snowman, a little bit on the, it's very, very delicate. I will show you in a second. I'll bring it up to the camera. A little bit on the hat, it gives a frostiness. You just need a clean brush to go into it really. We're just going to frost up the snowman. It's great for cards. Okay, so if I just take the tape off, I can bring this closer so you can see. Oh, I forgot the arms. Let's quickly get 2 arms in. I forgot our twiggy arms. So this is just a little bit of Payne's grey and a little bit of sepia mixed. And I'm just going to pop the twiggy arms in. This is using my rigger. Well, that's better. Okay, so can you see that iridescent medium? Look, it's just a sheen, it's like a glitter. It's just a very fine sheen. Okay, that's all done. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do like, subscribe and share, and I'll pop you a link to another card just here.